Folks, we have a lovely show today. We got our great friend, Cal Clutterbuck, all-time hits leader in the NHL. Big golfer, probably one of the better golfers that ever came through the NHL. And he's just a fantastic guy. He loves chopping it up with golf. So Trent's at the Barstool Classic. We got Cal. And it's all brought to you by Chevy. We got some Zurich Classic stuff to talk about. We're only a couple weeks out from the PGA Championship, so things are happening. And things are really happening with Equinox EV. It helps you show up in style. Looking good on the course is still up to you, but you're going to look good when you roll in with the Chevy Equinox EV. If it's the distance you're after, Equinox EV offers 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front wheel drive. We love Chevy, Frankie.
Love Chevy. Absolutely love Chevy. I've always loved Chevy. They get us from point A to point B in such a fashionable, safe way when we're on the road. That's all we drive. So, we absolutely love just those interiors now at this point. They have really perfected them. That 17.7-inch diagonal touchscreen display in that Equinox EV, in the Chevy Tahoe that we get when we need to really pack in a bunch of golf clubs in there and go from, Augusta all the way up to Macklemore, which, by the way, that series is out now. So make sure you go watch that. Very good. Very good to hear from Cal Clutterbuck. Can't wait for this episode. Freshly off of a retirement announcement, which was like an all-time retirement announcement. That I don't know how to do this. I'm retired. That's it. I'm done. It's just perfect. SoCal. SoCal.
It was absolutely perfect. Leave the driving to Equinox EV and show up to the course energized with available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance technology. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make.
Well, you could do that, but it's also kind of fun to watch those guys go out there and do stupid.
Fore-play, presented by Barstool Sports. We are back. Zurich Classic. We got to go through that. We had a women's major championship that came down to all kinds of kind of chaos. There was like a flub chip. There was a 3-putt. There was a Jake Knapp flub chip right around the same time. So there was just some chaos going on in the golf world. We're only a couple weeks out from the PGA Championship. So myself, Frankie, we've got the PGA Championship merchandise all over our persons. 10 a.m., I believe, Tuesday. So when this show comes out, PGA Championship Barstool Golf merchandise will be available online. Queen City, Charlotte, Quail Hollow, the big hub. Charlotte's a massive, massive city. The crowds are going to be crazy. Quail Hollow has all kinds of events from President's Cups to majors to a annual tour stop. So getting there with kind of our logos, very cool stuff. And we're joined by a great friend of the program who we've played a good amount of golf with, had him on the show before, just retired in really elaborate retirement announcement. Cal Clutterbuck. Welcome back to the show, Cal.
So good to be back, boys. I love being here.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you. Does your life change after announcing your retirement at all versus what you were doing right before?
Not one bit. It's been good to kind of get the monkey off the back, so to speak, with just put it out there in public. I got asked the question a lot. I've been doing some TV for MSG networks, and for us downers, Frankie knows this, the set is right in the middle of the concourse of the rink. So, you interact with the fans a lot. And I was getting that question quite a bit, doing the post-game show and people screaming, Kelly, strap him back on. And, I had to explain myself like too much. It was just time to make a video. Funny enough, that was my first video that I tried because I don't know how to do it. So I sat there, I was home alone, quiet house for the first time in God knows how long. And I'm like, all right, let's try it. And I that was the video I came up with. And I was like, that's just awful. I'm never going to use that. But my wife was like, just keep it, hold on to it. And then I tried 2 or 3 more. And I was just like, one day I just woke up and was like, you know what? I'm going to hit him with the first one and see what happens. So it's been good.
Yeah, it was great. It was such a Cal Clutterbuck retirement,
Yeah.
Just this is it. I'm done. That's it. I'm over.
I just never wanted to make a big thing about it, Yeah. I don't want to I just needed to say it so that, people could know.
I mean, you didn't play last year. Was there ever times throughout the year that you thought about running it back?
There was some very brief periods, but again, then my mind would go back to what does that entail on a daily basis? It's you can definitely miss the best moments. The Islanders would have some great games and there'd be some chippy games and some, rivalry games. And you'd sit there and go, I do kind of miss that a little, but that being said, I just played 36 holes of golf that day and I was just there calling the game. So it's if I had been playing, I'd be, off to Carolina tonight after the game. I would have been napping this afternoon and everything that goes into it is, I don't think I'll ever miss it. But I will miss the big moments, but it is what it is. I don't want to go through, I was kind of tired of going through the the grind of the schedule and the day to day, and that's really what led me to my decision to kind of just take a step away.
Yeah, I mean, and also they've thrown you right in between the benches. So like you weren't even fully retired yet, but you're like back on the bench with all the like these are all your boys. So like that had to have been wild because like you could just be out there playing, but like you're choosing not to. Mentally, that has to be a mental battle.
First time was funny because like I just walked down there and it was like really like awkward for me.
It's
And I'm like
one
I'm
seat
like
away from where you usually are. You know
yeah,
what I
I'm
mean,
literally
right
like
there.
I'm like elbowing the backup goalie and even the guys on the other team, like they all skate by and like, they're all focused and all of a sudden you'd see a couple of them like, is that
Cal?
what's he doing there? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then I played in the alumni game before, like, I was still kind of like people were still on the free agency list, like, early December, and I think once I went out for the alumni game, people were like, "What's he doing out there?" So, I
Rip
was
3 on
Yeah.
Henry.
yeah.
No, it's great though, and yeah, and it's you accomplished like as much as you wanted to accomplish, man. Like all the games that you played, you got the 1,000, you did the whole deal, like all-time leader in hits. Like that's just go play some golf, man. You earned it. You know what I mean? Like why go out there and grind? Like you said, it's not just you can't just like dip your toe in. It's the NHL. Like you've got to give it 1,000% every single day and night, and if you don't have that in you, let alone you're going to get hurt or it's just like you're going to ruin like your that taste in your mouth of what your career actually was. Like I commend you on ending it when you did, and I think that you made a great decision, and I think your career was unbelievable. I think it's like for your style of hockey, man, it was so fun to watch you out there. We talk about it all the time. You guys were the fourth line, and you would start the game like against Sidney Crosby and Malkin, and
Yeah.
like there would be a playoff game. The lights would be out, and they'd be sending out Matt Martin, Casey Cizikas, and Cal Clutterbuck to get the game going.
Yeah.
Like against their first line, their star players. We sent you guys out there to set the tone, to let the people know what we're about. That's fucking awesome to like hang your hat on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was a fun job because for me, I was never gonna be able to be that guy, like, I was never gonna be able to be Sid or any of those guys, but, I just found I carved myself out a decent niche and found a couple great dance partners in Casey and Marty and just that whole team, we talk about it all the time. I don't wanna talk about it too much, but you spend a lot of time around those guys. It's just a really fun group of guys. So,
The
it was a
best.
thrill of my life, It really was. 10 years, 11 years with those guys and building something up, and, the one thing I haven't done is win, and that was the one thing on my mind where it was like, "Alright, do I wanna give it one more shot?" And if it was with the Islanders, if the situation would've worked out there, I might have done it. At home, it's just another year. But, nothing came up that was really made much of sense, so just decided to take a little break, and I'm glad it worked out that way. It's worked out well.
Yeah.
So in terms of like being like the one thing I hadn't done was win, even though you guys had some phenomenal runs, which is, I mean, I can't even imagine the memories you got from those. But were you like looking potentially at trying to see if there was any offer from like a winning type team as your, like the last year or so?
Yeah, that's what I was kinda looking for, I didn't
Yeah.
wanna go anywhere that was, sort of in a different place, a team that's kind of almost there or halfway through a rebuild or starting a rebuild. I didn't to me, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Other than maybe, you go there for the first half of the year, maybe at the trade deadline, you go somewhere else, you get a chance to see who's doing well. But again, those things all ebb and flow, and the salary cap the way it is, it's kinda difficult. I also wanted to be close to home just in case I had to move away and my family had to come visit once in a while. Like, I didn't wanna be on the West Coast and never see my family for, 8 months, and that's tough. My kids are at ages where just it never made sense. Like, I would always arrive at the same conclusion, any scenario. So,
Yeah.
um, we just played a ton of golf this year.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much golf you're playing. We play a good amount, but man, you must just be hitting the links all the time.
Yeah. I mean, we played when it was 25 degrees out here a couple of times and snow on the ground. Like, once the snow gets to a certain level and you can't putt a putt longer than 6 feet, it's time to call it. But yeah, we play a lot.
Let's talk a little golf. Zurich Classic. We had Andrew Novak, Ben Griffin, get both their first wins on tour. Andrew Novak is kind of speaking of problems, Tom Wilson, he's kind of a problem right now. He finished third 3 weeks ago, then finished second at the RBC, losing in the playoff to JT, and then wins at the Zurich Classic. I looked because I saw some people floating this out there. He is now up to ninth in the Ryder Cup, Team USA Ryder Cup standings. The Zurich is always interesting. It's the only team event. that they have on tour. They do, best ball and then alt shot, then best ball, then alt shot. But if you win as a team, you both get the 2-year exemption, which is a little bit controversial to some folks, but huge for these two guys kind of battling down the stretch. There's always a little bit of chaos down in Louisiana. That 17th hole is just a bear. That par 3, we see people fuck that hole up all the time. We saw Napper and his partner hooked one into the water on 17, and then the Novak actually hit one that he actually held his hand over his chest as it was in the air. It landed near the pin, kicked kind of forward, barely stayed out of the water, and then they end up making a birdie. So it always kind of comes down to the wire down there. But huge for these two guys, huge for that, Mr. Novak. Keep that name, at the top of your mind because he's playing phenomenal golf right now.
I hit one to like 15 feet on that hole, and Chris Berman gave me knucks when we played in that like little 3-hole celebrity shootout thing. And Sean Payton looked at me and was like, "That's a golf shot." I mean, that's not an easy.
That's right. I remember Boomer, dude. That was insane. He was all over you then.
Yeah, because it was nerve wracking. You're out there playing like the gauntlet of that golf course. You've got like 1,000 people like walking around with you. You've got this guy on a microphone. He's like, "Can Frankie really do it?" And you stand up there, and like, "I'm the worst golfer in the world. Of course, I'm going to put this in the water." But dude, this guy Novak, it's like you catch lightning in a bottle. This is such a common theme in professional golf where like a guy just gets up on a leaderboard for this. In this case, it was a Heritage, and like you see him battling it out with JT, and then all of a sudden, like that name just sticks to the top of the leaderboard like goo. Like you just see him for a month, and now like we're going into a PGA Championship. You start thinking of Novak. Like this guy's playing great golf. Like you start seeing this name that you never even knew. How many people Googled Andrew Novak? I kept saying Steve Novak, the discount double check 3-point shooter for the Knicks. Like on Easter Sunday, I kept saying Steve Novak is going up against Justin Thomas. Like now I got to put some respect on his name. There's got to be something about this sport where like I know that there is, right? We all play it like in our own way, and like one ball goes in the hole and like the next one starts to feel a little bit easier. And like you hit one fairway and you're like, "Oh, I know how to do that." And I can't even imagine compounding that from tournament to tournament to tournament. But like, dude, this is such a common occurrence on this tour where like a guy comes out of fucking nowhere and now he sticks around.
They got like, they do this where they find that one thing where it all kind of clicks together, and then they go to another level. You do see it all the time, especially with guys like trying to make a name for themselves. They're like, guys will come out of nowhere, and then it's like, how long can they stick to the top of the leaderboard? They'll have like that 2-month stretch where they're hitting it great, and then maybe he goes out one day and shoots 75, and then it takes him a while to find it again. But the margin for error for these guys is so small. Talent levels, is crazy. And for him to be able to do it consistently kind of out of nowhere is very impressive.
No, it's incredibly impressive. He really is kind of nowhere too. He went to Wofford College. Okay. Not like he was at some top program. He's 30 years old from Raleigh, and then coming out here and like, and I want to think like Michael Kim's kind of had a year like that this year where it's like he's been, just keeping card, been out there, but then all of a sudden you look and it was like top 10 several weeks in a row out of nowhere. And it is golf's that kind of game, as everybody knows, where it's like something just kind of clicks, whether it's confidence, whether it's a certain swing thought, whatever the hell it is, and you can all of a sudden just start playing, significantly better. But even out there on tour, it's like, it's not, we talk all the time, Frankie, about how the fact that, if you just hold 2 more putts each round, that's an 8-shot difference over the course of a tournament. That is the difference between missing the cut and finishing like top 10 is those 8 shots. And it's just rolling the putts in. And obviously everything compounds towards that of like hitting the ball closer, hitting it farther in the fairway. That's what's going to end up leaving you more putts to make and all that. But it's really not as far off as you might think when you go watch any tour player in a practice round or hit balls. They all pretty much look the same. They all, right? It's like They all can just absolutely flush the golf ball. They chip and pitch the ball perfectly. They're all doing their putting drills with the gates, and their strokes are perfect. And you think, how could one guy beat another guy, not only like any given week, but like consistently over time? They're all so fucking good. It's nuts. And then you kind of would have to look at a guy like Andrew Novak, of somebody who comes out and is all of a sudden playing really well the last month. It's awesome for him. It's very, like to not have, again, that pedigree of like a giant program and all that, and then coming out at 30 years old and getting that done, getting the 2-year exemption. It's why, we love the big stars in those tournaments, but we also love these stories with him and Ben Griffin, who really good dude. Story's been documented, but the two of them to get their first win, very awesome.
Looks just like me. It's crazy watching in PGA Tour events. It's insane. Yeah, no, we talk a lot about the fact that this sport is not hockey where like you need to physically beat the other person. It's just you versus the golf course. And like, of course, a guy can just become better on his own and just score lower out of nowhere. He's there. If you're one of the top 100 golfers in the world at any given moment, you can just go incredibly low for 4 straight days. Like there's no having to piece a team together and like, oh, like you're never going to get there because like you don't have a quarterback or your pitching staff stinks. But like, yeah, like Mike Trout, of course, he's a great baseball player. He's just never going to win because his team sucks. Like that's not golf. Like Andrew Novak can just get the ball in the hole a lot from, in a span of, 3-4 weeks because he's unbelievably good at golf and things are just kind of rolling for him. He's playing against the golf course, not against Scotty, not against Justin, he's just trying to put the lowest score possible. And the delta between player 1 and player 120 probably isn't as wide as we think. It's probably pretty close in terms of skill.
It absolutely is.
That's them, yeah, but because we can't tell the difference, right? Like
maybe no. All right, maybe I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna say like from number 10 to a number 125 because dude, there's got to be a difference between the Scotties and the Rorys and the Collins, right? Like there has to be.
I think it's just the consistency of which they do it. Like, right? Like it's just every tournament's 4 rounds. There's a tournament every weekend. Like the top 10 guys are there every single time. And even if they're not for 1 week, they're right back there the next. Some of these guys are like, they go through spurts where they're like top 3, top 2, win a tournament, maybe finish second, and then go back to like 4 missed cuts. So like the difference to them is like, I think just consistently the guys who are in the top, I don't know, 25, let's say even 30, maybe even 50, they kind of always kind of go back and forth and your top 10 guys, but
I think more like skill level though, like shaping the ball and like being able to hit cuts into like hard greens and stuff like that. I think there is a level of like these guys can do things that other guys can't. Like the number 80th ranked golfer will look at Scotty and be like, that's foreign to me. I can't do that. But I guess like my point with like Andrew Novak compared to like any of the other guys is like he's pretty much the same from a certain number in the world golf rankings in terms of what he's able to accomplish out there. And any given moment, he can just get hot and win. You know what I mean? Like, you just need Sky to have an off week or Rory or Justin, whatever, and you're there. I wonder what that number is. Like what, like if you honestly polled, like anonymously polled and everyone was honest, like like how many golfers are out there that other guys can't even compare themselves to in terms of skill?
Like the question is, who can win this golf tournament this week? Like who in your mind, as a guy who's been out there with these guys all the time, like what are the 10 guys that can win this week?
Kids would always tell us like he never had a chance. Like he was the most honest guy in the world.
He's like, whatever, when he's like, they pay a lot for 20th.
Yep. Yeah. And then he just went through the majors that one year. And I think it was like 2019. And he was like, Augusta, like too long for me. And then he was like, Bethpage, too long for me. Can't win there. And he just went through the whole roster.
Booking his Airbnb through Friday. That's it.
Yeah. And then, whatever the course was that the British Open was at, he's like, oh, I got no idea about that one. He just didn't. But no, I feel like for the Masters, that was sort of something that was a little bit easier to pick out is like in terms of like, hey, who are the 10 guys that can win? And still would have been a little bit off on that, right? Like Justin Rose wasn't one of those names and he, got into the playoff, but it was like Rory and Bryson and Scotty. And those were the names that at the end of the day were up there. Ludwig, like those are the names that were up there. I feel like on any given tournament week, because of all of the courses not as like on the edge, right? Like they don't keep it on the edge on any given weekend as much as they do in a major, that anybody can kind of compete more often. But it is funny. I looked this week at the Byron Nelson. Speaking of like who can actually win, Scotty Scheffler is plus 280, and the next closest is Jordan Spieth at plus 1800. So Scotty is a gigantic favorite this week.
I think that tells you everything you need to know about.
Gosh, I mean, if you're a value guy though, like Scotty hasn't won, so like, how are you not taking someone in the plus 1800 range? I'm always on the train of like, if you don't bet Scotty, you're an idiot. But that was when he was winning every tournament that he played in.
Dude, you've got Sung J M plus 2200, Ben On plus 2,500. Taylor Pendrith plus 3,000. Siwoo Kim plus 3,000. Sam Burns plus 3,000.
Scotty's going to shoot 30 under. He's going to dominate this field.
They are like, it's making me want to take Scotty when I look at this. They're like, the DraftKings odds makers are telling me no one else can win this tournament, is what they're telling me right now when I look at this thing, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Isn't the Byron Nelson like in Dallas? In studies,
yeah,
Dallas guy. He's probably played there a million times.
It's his fucking spot, dude. He's like, he can't not win those things. Another thing at the Zurich, we had a little Rory and Shane finish tied for 12th, I believe. Just nice to see the two of them out there. I know they didn't win, but Rory legitimately looks like the happiest human being I've ever seen when he showed up for their co-presser on Wednesday. He's just all smiles. He's like bubbly. It is like he had the entire universe removed from his shoulders. He's talking about how he went back and visited their parents, and their parents are moving, and how they're, everything's been great. So many people have reached out. A couple presidents reached out, and then he showed up, and, him and Shane had a solid showing again, tied for 12th. Team event, I would say, like them winning last year, you would expect maybe they're going to go, but team event, anything kind of happen. It's not just a Rory show. It's not just a Shane show. And yeah, it was nice to see Rory out there. I'm starting to get on the belief train that Rory is going to win at Quail Hollow by like 8 shots. I'm starting to really feel that right now in my loins. He's done that multiple times before. He's won, I believe, the first U.S. Open he won in 2011. I think he won by 8, and then next year when he won at Kiowa, the PGA, he won by 8. So this guy is just capable of doing that. And like I said, he was bopping around New Orleans, not a care in the world. I don't even know if he wanted to win. He was like, oh, it's way better for these Ben Griffin guys. Well, they should win this tournament. That's fine. He's having dinners. He's hanging with Shane. So it was nice to see Rory. And I just, I'm happy to see him doing so well, gentlemen.
I think now that he's playing with a little bit of house money, he might get real dangerous. He's got that big monkey off his back. And like, don't forget, we talked about it before, but don't forget like how stressful this whole golf world has been for him, being PGA Tour's poster child through this whole, disruption merger. That's like a lot of stress on a kid. And, obviously put a lot of stress on him and his family. And then you throw the major drought on top of that. He was feeling Toronto Maple Leaf type pressure with, he doesn't have 19 other teammates to share the burden with. He was doing it all by himself. And I was really happy to see him finally do it. And he kept it interesting. He made it interesting, obviously, but when the chips were down, he made the one he needed to make. He hit the shots he needed to hit, and he got it done. So look out for him, I think, moving forward. I think you're right about the Quail Hollow prediction, and who knows beyond that. We might be seeing a little Rory run coming here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens, because it could go either way. And I've been on that since he won the Masters, where it's like, it's not like he's taking the foot off the gas, but there might be something in that brain that it is a little bit of foot off the gas. Was this run over the last 10 years of winning tour, winning FedEx Cups and winning a ton of tournaments and being at the top of the money list every year, like, was that a product of grinding to get back to the top, to doing everything you could to win a fucking major again, right? Like day in and day out, hitting golf shots. We always say he did that one story where he was hitting shots into a simulator with the simulator turned off, so he could just feel where the ball was going. Like, is that in the pursuit of getting back to where you wanted to get? Now, I get, like, you're there, you win it, monkey off the back, gorilla off the back. I know that there's a newfound fire that's burning where it's like, I can be the best of my generation. I can be one of the best of all time. I can win multiple majors now. I know what it takes. Like, but there's just something in there, that devil's advocate side of me, that's like, is that foot off the gas just a little bit now?
It's a good point.
Yeah, it is. There is a championship hangover thing, but I think a lot of team sports, the championship is the end of the season, and then you go through a whole summer and you celebrate, I think he's kind of on his 2-week sort of like, I'm just going to love my life tour. And then he's going to probably turn around and start to get focused for this. It's interesting in golf because they can, he's got another one in a couple of weeks. So he's kind of still got that feel. He doesn't have to wait for 3 months to get back at it and go through a whole season. So maybe he has the confidence, or maybe you're right. Maybe he's just like takes a deep breath and then he goes back home for a little while. I just like tries to have fun at the PGA and it works out or it doesn't. He could play well, he could play horrible, but I think it's going to get him going.
Yeah, it's an excellent point because, I mean, when Tiger won the Masters in 2019, I remember we were like, Bethpage, he's won the US Open there, Pebble, he's won the US Open there. This guy's going to go on a tear, and then he like missed the cut at a couple of them, just wasn't great. Now Tiger was obviously older, obviously everything that went into his body to perform is quite different, but Clutter, like you were talking about at the beginning of the show, just like the effort that it took for you to play hockey at the highest level, play in the NHL. I imagine as you got older and older, that became like crazy more work every day to like get your body in shape to play.
Just mentally, like physically, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be really lying if I said I did anything extra. Like I was never an extra guy, anyways. I was always just kind of like, I'm gonna show up, have my coffee, and sit here with my gear on, and then wait for the to go. But mentally, just having to like go to that place in your brain, like that many times, and then the amount of years kind of stack up, and then your life changes and gets more complicated behind the scenes. So the more the more balls you start juggling, the more consistently tiring it gets, and you really have to remind yourself to go out there sometimes just for the fun of it, for the joy. It's like you do go through these spurts where it's really wearing on you. You're like, I don't know if I keep doing this, and then you wake up one morning, you're like, hey man, I'm still playing the NHL. Let's go and have fun tonight. And that's the game where you throw a big hit, you get 1-1, and then you're hooting and hollering with the boys after, and you're like, all right, this is why I do this. I'm back at it. Let's go. So you need those moments every once in a while where you can just remind yourself why and why you're there and what you're looking to do. But yeah, man, it's not easy. It's tiring, and when you're a solo athlete, it's not like you can take a game off or just be like, I don't have it tonight. Like I'm just gonna try to hide, which you can do in team sports. I'm not saying I really ever thought about it that way, but you can. Some guys just don't. They're like, I don't have it tonight, and you can see it in them, but not when you're out there by yourself with a golf ball. It doesn't move until you make it move. So
Yeah, I mean, I want to be on the side that I think he's going to get motivated to go on a generational run of golf here. Like let's see what Rory can do. It's untapped potential. Let's go. Like there's nothing holding him back now. Just run for the hills with as many majors and events that you can win. But yeah, it's just I'm more saying like something subconsciously that just happens. That pursuit is over. Now it's a new pursuit. It's a new board, a vision board now. He always had just the Masters up there, or even just any major. 11 years. There was that vision board that that's the only thing he cared about. Everything else in his life was done, dude. The guy's going to be like a billionaire. Nothing else mattered. And now it's like, I got it. I'm crying. I'm weeping on the grounds of Augusta. It's like, is that fire still? Is like, does he care about getting six that much? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he does. I don't want anyone to see this and be like, you're a fucking idiot. Of course he wants to win. I'm just saying that fire that burns inside you got to throw more coals on it now.
You 100% do. And it's not just like that he doesn't want to win. It's like everything that goes into it, right? He was doing the Bob Rotella stuff. He was writing like certain quotes in his yardage book to like remind himself of certain, right? And then all the gym stuff, all the shots, the fact that he did go to the simulator in New York and hit shots without the simulator on so that he could build these new fields, like all of that, if that's what gives you that 2% of extra advantage for all that work, that leads to you winning the Masters and majors, and now you don't have all that because of whatever reason, whether it's the fire, whether it's like you got over the hump, that could be the difference, like you're saying. So I don't think that's a crazy take at all. I would, I hope that it's him freed up. I hope that like the nature of golf is that he put all that work in to build, sort of change his swing a little bit, right? He kind of reverted back to how his swing was in 2011 a little more, as Brandel has broken down a bunch, and that like his swing is kind of grooved now, and that he can do more, typical preparation for these majors and be
it's
ready
Andrew
to
Novak
rock.
on steroids. It's
right.
Like we're saying,
Right.
if Novak's finding himself at the top because he found something, what the hell did Rory just find?
you're right. Like when you first said it, I was like, I don't know about that. Like I think he's just gonna go bomb it away. But in the last 2 minutes, you've given me kind of pause. So I'm gonna think about it. I'll get back to
Yeah.
possibility. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. It's a good take.
Could be comes out with like a 65 at Quail Hollow.
I hope so
on
too.
Thursday.
I mean, we're huge Rory guys. You know who else is who's gonna get? Whose fire is raging now? It's Bryson, Brooks, all these guys that he starts to get compared to now.
Yeah.
Brooks Koepka's like, God damn, now I got to go out and win that next one. Now my vision board just put another fucking major on it because now I was playing the whole game. I had more than you and this whole thing. Now it's like, these guys are coming after him now, which golf is in such a good spot right now. A tigerless sport of golf is somehow it's going 1,000 miles an hour right now, which I never thought would have happened.
It's like the pinnacle of the Tiger effect, though, like it's still because of Tiger that these guys are so good.
Oh,
they all want to play.
It is.
It's like, but it's so awesome to see an entire generation of kids just like play golf from the start. Like a lot of these guys probably play other sports when they were a kid back in the day and they just happen to be good at golf and they kept going. But these kids are like, they're golfers, man, and they are sick.
NHL playoffs are here, and the only place to buy hard-to-get playoff tickets is Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NHL playoff tickets. I'm looking right now at this Vegas Knights, Minnesota Wild. You can get anything from $79 on the GT picks all the way up to $362 if you're sitting down basically on the glass. So they get all kinds of options for everybody. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to puck drop. You could save up to 60% when buying last minute tickets. We love getting out, doing things, enjoying events. That's what life's all about. Game Time's a spot to do that.
Yeah, on the GT picks, feature on the Game Time app. You click on that. For me, I'm looking at the Hurricanes at Devils at the Prudential Center. Big playoff game. You can sit in the 200 section, center ice, $68. And the only reason you're able to see this is because you hit the GT picks button at the top right there. You're looking at all these numbers. You hit GT picks, bang. It gives you the best ones, takes out all the ones that you don't want to see, the ones that are overpriced, that might be too high in bad sections, whatever it might be. This one gives you the best ticket for the best price, makes it super easy for you. Game Time is the only way to get involved with the playoffs, with concerts. We talk about it a lot. It's springtime. We're about to rock and roll, especially here on Long Island. A lot of concerts. You got all these arenas, MSG, UBS, Barclays Center, the outdoor stadium at Jones Beach. You got MetLife. Like every night you got something to go to. Let's go. Let's get active. Let's buy tickets. Game Time's the only place.
Take the guesswork out of buying NHL playoff tickets with Game Time. You download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code FORE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game Time. This episode is brought to you by Brex. Every company is looking to get more from their dollars these days. Meet Brex, the modern finance platform that helps companies do just that. With a corporate card, banking, expenses, and travel all in one place, Brex ensures the best companies, from the fastest growing AI startups to global enterprises, can spend smarter and move faster. This is a very real life example for us because we switched to Brex quite recently. We are on the road nonstop. As people know, we're filming, we're going to classics, we're going to events, and we're expensing things pretty much every single day. It is amazing, the technology with Brex and how much easier it is to expense stuff.
Yeah, it was a burden always because you had to start all these different projects and reports and all the details you had to write in manually. And now with all the technology built into Brex, it makes it so easy to be able to just upload all of these receipts that you have, even the digital receipts that you may get from buying something online or whatever it might be. It just takes all that information and fills it all out for you. It couldn't be easier. For us, we don't have to build any reports anymore. So it's just like click and go, and let's just get this money back in our account. So if you're listening to this and you are in charge of this aspect of your business, for me as just an employee, I'm absolutely loving this platform compared to the competitors that we have used over the last 10 years here at Barstool in my time. I'm absolutely loving it. It makes it so much easier. And I'm actually using it as opposed to just like eating the money and the expenses.
This has earned them the trust of 30,000 companies, including us here at Barstool Sports. We're a proud Brex user. You can learn more at brex.com/grow. That is brex.com/grow.
Dude, I just had this conversation at dinner the other night because obviously we're having a kid. Breaking news, no kid yet for all the listeners. They've been waiting for this, but no child yet. This is due date week, though. When you're listening to this, it's tomorrow. I just had that conversation about, like, we were talking about Little League as we drove by the Little League fields right by our house on our way to dinner, and it was packed. And I was like, there's so many kids. And I dedicated my whole summers and my whole life to baseball, right? And it's really, really I was going nowhere with it. Like played high school baseball, like you're not going anywhere with it. And I didn't grow up on a golf course with a golf club in my hand. It was very recreational. Go out with my dad. I've told those stories from the beginning. Where like hopping fences, stealing balls from the Eisenhower range, bringing them over to the red course and just peppering par threes. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just hitting pellets onto greens, not realizing how bad that is for greenskeepers now. I actually really apologize for that. But and leaving golf balls, it was insane. My dad should have gotten arrested, but but like now, what do you think like my generation of and I mean Cal, you're in that too, like you're raising kids and they're younger right now and they're going into sports. Like what do you think like my generation of dad and parents, how many kids are now going to be put into golf because of how fucking big this sport is for us? And even the kids younger than us right now. Think about the YouTube generation of golf viewers when they become dads. Golf is going to get so big at a elementary level. Like I can't even imagine what high school golf teams are going to look like. And like, there's going to start being like travel golf leagues and shit. Like there's right now, like none of that exists where I am, but you could just feel it coming. Like it's going to be like a wave of golfers if it's not already.
It's getting there. It's getting there. But like, again, like when you're a kid, it's just like, oh, once or twice a year, I'm going to go to the range with my dad and try and hit the ball cart that's scooping the ball.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my son. I'm like, you want to go hit balls? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, just try and hit the tractor, so I get to practice and then he goes up there and gets like 150 balls and just tries to rip them at the tractor and he hits them 3 times. He thinks it's the greatest thing ever. And he's 7 and he's been doing it for years. So you're right. Like these kids are playing, but in youth sports, it's so like, this is weird about youth sports is right now it's the era of like specialization. So if you pick a sport, it used to be like when I played hockey during the winter. My hockey bag went in the basement at the end of March and out came my baseball glove. And I play baseball till Labor Day, basically. And then I was so excited to pick up my hockey gear and I was excited to pick up my baseball gear in the summer. Now these kids pick one sport at 7. I had to choose that when I went to the OHL at 16, what I wanted to be. And even then, I came back and played high school baseball through my junior career because I just was like, I loved it and I wanted to play. And what I see in youth sports now is extreme specialization at like a really early age, which I'm not so sure I'm on board with because I think kids need to be kids. And they're almost being treated like pros with the way that they have personal coaches and extra lessons and picking what team they want to play on. And it's a really weird world in sports right now for kids. But I just hope they keep the love of whatever sport they're playing. Like, just let them go out there and play and enjoy it. Because once you
what does that look like for golf, though? Like that's good. You start right now. It definitely is that specialization in golf. There's people that are just throwing clubs and they're like, you're going to go to our country club every day and you're going to putt and you're going to chip, whatever. But it feels
and like working on technique, and you need to
that
be
feels
in this
like a
position,
small
that
group,
position.
though.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? I mean, I don't know many people that are doing that right now, but it feels like this next wave might be pushed to that more than like the other sports, just because of how fucking popular it is.
Yeah, and the other side of it is, like you said, the content and the YouTube is more of their exposure. Like, it's not like a kid who doesn't know golf is going to sit down and watch the Zurich Classic, but he might watch you guys do a 4-man scramble with whoever, their other favorite athlete, or he might watch, Bob Does Sports or Grant Horvat or something. He catches that, and that's what he falls in love with. And he's like, dude, like, I love this. This is awesome. So there's so many different fun aspects of golf that are out in public. Content's there now. It's in the same place that the kids are watching content. So there's way more exposure for kids a lot younger. They could watch it on demand. They don't have to like wait for their show to come on or record it or sit there on a Sunday afternoon and have to be home to watch it. So the exposure to it is way, way, way bigger. Way bigger.
Here's a parent question for you, Cal. I didn't think I was going to be asking on the podcast, but like, how difficult is it when you want your child to do something, right? Like a sport, or you want them to fall in love with something. Like, how difficult is it to push that on them and like want them to love it? And if they don't, like, what do you do? Like
it starts at
the
beginning because you can't want them to do anything.
Right.
They have to just tell you. They'll tell you in the way that they approach the sport. A lot of times it's like they start at like 3, put them on a soccer field. You're sitting there on a Sunday morning, hungover, like 8:15, just like oh God, like, look at this right now. Like, my allergies are
Oh
horrible.
God.
I got a coffee. My hands are shaking. Like, why am I here? Like, they're just sitting there picking dandelions. Like, what's going on here? And it's like that part of it can be frustrating for the first time. You're just like, get up, get over there, go, in your mind. But you just got to sit there and enjoy it, and then take them for an ice cream or something after, so they want to go back the next week. And honestly, sometimes when they tell you they don't want to go, you just don't take them. My son plays hockey. He loves it. But there are days like he has Friday night practice. There's days when he comes home from a long week at school and he's just like, Dad, I really don't want to go today. I'm like, okay, you don't go. We're not going. And there are times when, you know, if they're not going consistently, then you got to be like, hey, you made a commitment to your team and this and that. But your kid will tell you whether they like it or not. Their actions will tell you how invested they are. Like my second daughter, started playing lacrosse about, I don't know, 4 years ago. She's a very good athlete, but her ball skills weren't great. So she played D and she was a good runner. But all of a sudden, like, I bought her one of those bounce backs. You see them in like every backyard on Long Island. They're everywhere.
Mhm.
And she made a travel team. And for the last 2 years, like almost every day, she's out there, winter, summer, rain or shine, kind of like throwing 100 or two righty and lefty. And her ball skills and her talent level have gone up like dramatically. So again, like that was just her telling me, all right, like let's push her, like do a little more. Let's do a little more. And I don't need to tell her anything. She goes out there and she really likes it, because the love of sport comes out of like when you improve and you can tangibly improve and then go out there and have a good time and become one of the better players. Next thing you know, your friends are looking at you like, wow, you're pretty good. Like, you're amazing. That was cool. Like, that's what gives people the desire to keep playing a sport is the confidence that it gives them just as a kid, as a human. It makes you feel good about yourself. So then you want to go out and get that feeling again. You want to continue to improve and continue to have that feeling. That's what's cool about it, to watch them go out there and do it themselves. And every single, like, I have 4 kids, every single one of them are different, and they all have different skills, and they all have different drive, and they all have different personalities, but they'll find what they're looking for, and it's just your job at that point to be ready to give them what they need if they want to keep going.
Great response.
That is a great response.
How
That
you
is a
Yeah,
great
no,
response.
it
feeling
makes
about this,
sense.
Frank? How you feeling about this? Are you nervous? Are you excited? What are you?
Yeah, I mean,
feeling?
you're definitely nervous, like, obviously nervous for, like, the next week, just, like, make sure everything goes well, right? That's, like, the number one thing. But then, like, and we don't even know if it's a boy or girl, so, like, you have no idea how to, like, plan. I'm more, you sit around, you just think about, like, what life's gonna be like. Obviously, it's gonna change drastically, and you have to kind of, like, divert all of the things that you want for yourself towards someone else now, where it's like, that's never really happened in life. Even when you get married and the whole deal, it's still, like, I go out and I'm pursuing things just personally, like you want to be able to go out and your job and everything, like that's all that matters to you, especially at Barstool. It's like that's the only thing that's ever really driven you each day. And now it's like, holy shit, we're going to be coming home with a human being. That's it now. And the reason I asked about the sports is just like you see all these stories of the Tigers and the Rorys, and they're handed a club when they're like 1 year old, and Tiger's on a show when he's 2 years old, like hitting little wedge shots on a TV show. It's like he had no choice but to play golf and ends up loving it, right? But I wonder how many people make that mistake of like forcing them into, because I just got done saying golf's going to be the biggest thing ever because the parents love it. And like, I love golf. So it's like, do you just hand them a golf club when they're 3 years old and be like, you have to love this because I love it. And like, it's going to be the biggest thing. This is the best for your future. Like, how many parents make that mistake where it's like, that might not have been the right choice for them. Right. And how many parents get it right? Because then they can turn it to a Scotty Scheffler, because like, you don't give Scotty a golf club. What the hell's he doing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at those guys though, and again, like they were the ones who decided that they loved it. Like Tiger
Yeah.
swung the club probably every single day. It was probably the first thing he asked for when he got out of bed.
Right.
So it's like, if your kid's not asking you for a golf club at 3, don't worry about it. Like,
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
lots of time. Like, get him a
Yeah.
little get him a little plastic one. He'll walk around the backyard with one of those little plastic balls and let him just like push it around the backyard. And then once they get old enough to go to the club, you take them there and you play as many holes, like, leave right before they're tired of it. Like, I think Padraig Harrick had said this in an interview one time. He's just like, take
This
him
was
out
our
there.
podcast, dude. He said
Oh,
this
is this
on.
what he said? He's like,
Yes.
take them out there before they're done. Tell them, okay, that's it for today. And then go spend 15 minutes with them in the clubhouse, buy them the Coca-Cola and the ice cream sandwich, and they're going to identify 2 things. Like, this is the time I get to spend with my mom or my dad. or my grandpa or my grandma, and I'm going to get to come here and have a Coca-Cola and feel like a big kid sitting with the adults in the prestigious country club room or the local muni or wherever, because the ice cream sandwiches taste the same everywhere. So, these kids you want them to like identify with the memory in a positive way so that they want to continue to do it. And kids are talented. Like they can, if your kid plays golf 10 times a year from the age of like 9, by the time he's 20, if he still likes it, he's going to be a pretty decent player.
Yeah,
He's
true.
just gonna he's gonna have hit enough golf shots to know. And when the body like figures out that motion at a young age, way harder for adults to pick up golf. Way harder. Just a really hard thing to do. So yeah, just make sure they love what they're doing.
Yeah.
It is an interesting point about the next generation because golf participation is way up ever since COVID, as everybody knows. If you go try to acquire a membership at any place, it's all, in whatever the late 2000 teens, it was like they were giving them away, and now they're 10, 20x what they were. So prices are crazy for people to play golf, get into golf clubs. Participation's way up. The YouTube golf scene is incredibly popular with all the different followings, millions and millions of views. And then there's a lot of other efforts that golf has done, like Full Swing on Netflix, I feel like is a huge success. TGL, which I know TGL is not getting, Super Bowl numbers, but like it's still getting social clips all over the place. People are seeing it, that it's like kind of this, newer video game like looking thing that's going to appeal to kids. And so if you've got all this participation, especially in the young demographic, you got participation is way up in like 20 and 30-year-olds, and they're going to start having kids now. And when those kids, like you're saying, Frankie, in the next 10, 15 years are like going to be inspired by what their parents were into, and they're into golf. So I do think, and then you combine that with like Rory emerging as the star that he kind of used to be, and like that Masters win. Like I was honestly, I think I was as hyped up for that Masters final round as I ever was for any Tiger Woods round. Like I really, really believe that, and I never would have thought I could have gotten to that point ever. And it's the history. It's that he had kind of had been carrying the torch for the PGA Tour. He had come up so gruelingly short in so many tournaments over the last several years, and all of it. And then him going up against Bryson for like looking for the payback, and it being at the Masters, the Grand Slam, all of it. It was like I was as hyped up, maybe more hyped up than I'd been for most Tiger Woods rounds, with the exception of like 2019's final round and maybe a couple others. But I just never would have thought I could get to that point and so yeah, the post Tiger era, with golf being as kind of widespread popular as it is now, I feel like there really could be a good amount of participation increases in like people taking golf really seriously going forward as like their go-to sport.
Yeah, I mean, and the accessibility to golf too is like you can go out. If you want to play hockey, you need to go rent the ice. Like, unless you're living in Minnesota or somewhere where the pond's frozen all year long, like you need to go out and do it. You can go play mini putt, you can go play golf, you can go to the driving range, like you can go anywhere and hit golf balls. And that final round, like I think it checked all the boxes, right? Like all the studs were at the top. They all had a chance to win. Even like the last, how many Masters have come down? Like by the time they're on 17T, you're like, this tournament's over, And it was one of those years where all the storylines just came crashing together, and it was. I loved it. I watched every minute of the weekend. It was awesome.
It was so good.
You went, didn't you go?
I went on Thursday. Yeah, it was sick.
Which you've never been able to do because you've been in the league.
That's right. So I got home. Yeah, I made that video on a Saturday morning, and I was sitting there watching the featured pairings, and I was just like, I'm doing this video. I don't know what to talk about. Like, and I had a master shirt on. I was like, oh, well, I was at
What were your thoughts? Like just entering the grounds. I mean, you got a great day. Thursday of the Masters, perfect weather.
It was unlike anything I've seen. It almost had like, the only other time I've had that feeling is the first time I set foot in like Disneyland when I was like 9, 8. It's just like everything feels like kind of a movie set. Everything's perfect. Even the stuff, like I know the golf course is perfect, but everything on the grounds is so immaculate. It's such a special place. Like even the walkways and the concession stands, like they're just like, you're like, did they redo these every 6 months? Like everything looks brand new all the time. It's all in the right spot. It was cool, man. I gotta say, I'm glad I went. And I was glad I was home to watch on the weekend, It's you know how it is. It's kind of difficult there to watch multiple players at the same time. You almost got to pick who you want to be with, and you kind of spend the day with them, even if you do it like a double loop. It can be tough to see what's going on, especially if guys are at different parts of the golf course. So I was glad I was at home for the weekend, but what an experience that was.
The
The best. It's the absolute best. It is hard to explain to people unless they've been there, but like everything is just so seamless. It's so efficient. You like can't believe that everywhere doesn't do everything the way they do it. And then you realize like, oh, not everywhere has unlimited money and basically unlimited room to like be able to set everything up the way they want. But the concessions alone, the fact that they're like two-sided and you walk in one side in a line and then you just walk out the other side, it makes me when I walk through the concourse of like an NHL rink and be like, oh, they have concessions where you just line up in one. That's psychotic. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way out. There's no way out. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And the line's like, you got a kid holding a sign that says, this line is 5 minutes long and there's 600 people in line. You're like, there's no way. And then next thing you know, you never break stride and you just kind of walk through, grab what you want. Next thing you know, you're right back where you were 5 minutes later. It's like, wow, what just happened?
Shout out to UBS Arena, actually, where they have adopted that you grab it and then there's a whole line of cashiers. You just go up and then you make your purchase.
Yeah.
But they trust you to go grab all your stuff, similar to Augusta National, which every single stadium needs to adopt that strategy. I understand there's probably security issues and like, because honestly, you go to UBS, they have a refrigerator. You go in, you grab your tall boy, you grab your hot dog, you get your popcorn, you walk up to the cashier, you put it down, she scans it all, and then you just on your way. And it's like, I know that there could be things that happen. Maybe you don't scan something in or whatever, but like take that risk and make the experience better for everyone. Because when you go to like MetLife Stadium or one of these other ones where it's like you're missing a quarter of a football game to go get a fucking beer and a hot dog, that needs to be the Stone Age of watching sports. If I'm paying $500 to go to a game, everything better be like as easy as possible.
It's going to get to the point where like your phone has a ticket on it. Your ticket has a number attached to it that has your credit card attached to it. You're going to grab shit and just walk out the door and like some sensor will be able to like scan.
That's what Amazon does.
Yeah.
You ever been to an Amazon, like Amazon store? Dude, in the city, in New York City, they have an Amazon like Go, like you can get sushi, you can get all these, you can get food, you can get whatever. You go in, whatever you grab, you just walk out with it, and it knows based off of whatever card that you signed in with, right to your Amazon Prime account.
Wild,
bro, and it's like it's perfect. You could take the thing of sushi off, look at it, put it back. It knows it all. It's crazy.
Kind of scary.
A little scary.
It is scary. It's definitely a little scary. Boys, did you hear by chance about this post that came from Skylinks at Buchanan Fields?
Nope.
No.
Hope you guys are ready for this one. This is a family-friendly, family-centric 9-hole track in Concord, California. They posted on their Instagram a few days ago. This is a full post on their Instagram. Okay. To the late 30s married wife in the black car who's having a secret affair, and with the guy in the smaller silver car who've decided using the back right corner of our Skylinks car park to meet weekly on the same day at X:30 a.m. next to the workshop and recycling dumpster where you think no one is watching. Please stop. All caps. If it happens again, we'll drop the footage and watch all hell break loose. We are a family-friendly golf course, not some Jerry Springer family destruction zone. Dr. Phil would suggest to go home and have an honest chat with the person who really needs to hear it. That was a public service announcement from Skylinks.
Now, the craziest thing is these two people definitely don't even know what Skylinks Golf Club, like there's no way. They're just pulling into a parking lot. They have no idea that this is an Instagram post. Wow.
Yeah, I got to think that's kind of outed them, though, because like wouldn't people be able to piece that together like in the community or something? Like you're not driving 100 miles away from where you like reside and spend time to go do this little rendezvous. Like the black car, the people, I'm sure that like the friend group was suspecting something sketchy because people can't be doing this. Like people aren't Leonardo DiCaprio, like their fucking acting skills. Like people start to get sketched out, start to think, and then they see this. I'm going to guess that this outed the shit out of them because people were like, oh, the car, the like girl we saw, we always thought the two of them looked a little flirtatious at social events. Bang, done. But how about this move from the golf course?
Yeah, it's a crazy PSA from a golf course, that's for sure. I mean, obviously, whoever's running it's like a person that just gets to make those decisions, but that's hilarious. The fact that came from a family 9-hole golf course. You know, they could have just knocked on the window and just been like, "We're not going to post that."
I still know what to think about that. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing this, and I'm like, what? That's unbelievable. Like, what is like the golf course on their Instagram?
I can't believe they wouldn't have just gone up and said something to these people. Like when they when they pull in next week, just be standing there and be like, "Hey,
I don't know." Yeah. They oddly know a lot about them. You know, they know a lot about them.
Been married
because like just go up to them and just be like, "Hey, like you guys can't park here." It's as simple as that, right? Like this, they've let this go on for weeks apparently, and they're like spying on them. Be like, "Hey, this is a closed private parking lot."
Details: late 30s, married wife, black car, secret affair with the guy in the smaller silver car. That's all kinds of detail. All kinds of detail.
What kind of pool of people are we talking? It's probably not that big. Probably talking about 200 people. You know,
I'm saying, I think they're going to be able to figure that out.
I mean, late 30s girl driving a black car in Manhasset is pretty vague, but you know, it's like like playing Guess Who. They've given you the 20 questions. It just takes one more to figure out who it is.
Right. All right, Alex, should we finish off with some voicemails, my friend?
Yeah, let's do it.
From the gallery. Little voicemail action we do now. So you could call in, leave a voicemail, any thoughts in the world of golf that you might have, any stories, anything at all. You could call 646-685-4717. From the gallery is brought to you by Truly Unruly Lemonade. Combines the high alc fun of Truly Unruly with everyone's favorite lemonade. Lemonade let loose. 8% ABV, 100% delicious. 4 supercharged lemonade flavors: Bumpin' Blue Raz, OG Original Lemonade, Punched Up Pineapple, Wild Pink. It's the official hard seltzer of fore-play. Level up your lemonade with Truly Unruly. Find Truly Unruly Lemonade at a store near you or visit trulyhardseltzer.com. Let's hear him there, Bushman.
Hey, boys. Luke here from Michigan. Played in the Saguaro Scramble with my buddy Grant, and that's kind of who my question is about. I just want to know how rare you guys think this is. My buddy Grant has seen 4 hole-in-ones all on the same hole, all on all 4 tee boxes. I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Love the show, and keep doing the good work. See you, boys.
How many hole-in-ones do you have, Cal?
1.
Where'd you do it?
Wheatley Hills.
Wow.
Yeah.
The home of Keegan Bradley, really.
Yeah. Hole 14.
Bag boy there.
189 yards.
What'd you hit?
Wow.
8 iron.
Yeah.
Down breeze.
Nice.
I don't hit my iron 190.
Did you see it go in? I'm trying to think of that hole.
Yeah, it's like you're coming back down the hill. It's like from the back of the property, kind of coming back.
Yeah.
Nice little hole. But to answer this question, I saw, 3 in one day.
What?
2 in one day for sure. The other one might have been. And then I played with a guy. I definitely saw 3 in 1 week. I saw 2 at my club, Plandome Country Club, in like a 2-man in the same day. Last year I was at a hoopy. I saw one, but then the 2 groups later, another guy hit one on the same hole.
What the hell's going on?
No way.
Dude, this has happened to me like 3 times. And then I played with a guy who got his 4th, I believe, in a 3-week span with me at another club here on Long Island. And I was like, dude, like I went on a string where like almost every time I played, someone was hitting one. It was wild, but I haven't seen one since. It was like 5 years ago.
I've never seen a hole-in-one. I've never been in a group where there's been a hole-in-one. Never been on property where there's been a hole-in-one. Like I haven't even been in the group ahead where there's been a hole-in-one. And I've gone on buddies trips. I've been everywhere. We've played so much golf. Never seen one go in the hole.
The 2 I've seen are about as iconic as it gets. Is the 10th hole at Pacific Dunes. My brother got the first hole-in-one any of us has ever gotten. It was like Sunday morning of a buddy's trip. We had like a whole nother day Monday. So we went, played the 11th hole, and then he ordered 2 double transfusions for each of us. And he ripped the lid off the first one and just housed it after that immediately, which was great. And then the other one was the 12th hole at Skokie Country Club, my buddy Chad in Chicago area. And it's like our favorite course, Donald Ross course. We do like a whole Ryder Cup type weekend there with a bunch of college buddies and their parents. And so it's like very sentimental course for us. And in a singles match against me, he made a hole-in-one on the 12th hole. It was incredible. Wow. Yeah, it was incredible. It was perfect too. I mean, both the 2 hole-in-ones I've seen, yeah, they talk about people blade shots sometimes and it like rolls in or hits the fucking pin or whatever. Both the hole-in-ones I've seen, like a high towering 9-iron that one hopped and went in, and the other one was like, I believe, like a high towering 6-iron that landed on the front edge and rolled right into the hole. It was sick.
Yeah, I didn't
really good.
I think this might be wrong, but I think Ovi, the first time he ever played golf, got like a Scully skanky hole-in-one. I think he got a hole-in-one in
he
like
swings and misses like 5 times. He swings and misses like 5 times and then gets it in. And the video's all time. He's like, I got a hole-in-one. and then he goes, I swear to God. I swear to God. The way he says I swear to God is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Alex, you may have to pull that up right now, because I know we did that during one of the videos. I don't know that we played this on the podcast. Maybe we did.
It is a hilarious video.
I swear to God. Here it is. Watch this.
I hit him. Yeah. I shot him with that and I got it. I swear to God.
I swear to God. He turns into Borat.
I swear to my mom.
Swear my mom.
My home.
Golden ball.
My home.
Number 3, top line.
What a Neanderthal this guy is, by the way. I mean, like, dude, what he did against, like, you know, obviously it was against the Islanders, but like couldn't have been a better moment. Like, that is so iconic. You were in the building for that, right?
I wasn't.
You weren't?
No, MSG didn't do the game. I think TNT was doing the game.
Oh, it was a TNT game.
And I didn't go. I think I was at a lacrosse game somewhere on Long Island, but I wish I had been there. I'll tell you, I swing and a miss by me, because it was crazy moment, man. It's such an impressive thing. And I got, you got to give a lot of love to Wayne and the league for doing it properly and not letting it slip by without proper recognition. I think they did a great job of that. And obviously the Islanders, I think, did a classy thing by letting him have his moment. And I expect nothing less from them, but amazing. Just an amazing guy.
I mean, I said this on the last time when you were on the podcast, but I thought as a fan, one of the highlights of Cal Clutterbuck watching was you being able to navigate the PK against the Caps all those years. And like, they used to highlight that on the broadcast like crazy, that you guys would just stand there. Like, you would just be, you knew how to play him. And I'm sure he got his fair share of goals past you guys. I'm sure he did, because he just unbelievable on the power play. But you knew how to play him a little bit. You gave him some fits.
I don't remember the last time he scored one on the power play from that spot when I was out there. Honestly, I
didn't want to say that he didn't, because I'm sure someone.
I don't really remember either. I'm not making that claim because I'm sure he did, but yeah, it was one of those things where we had a pretty good plan against him. We played against him all the time. What did end up happening is a lot of the other guys, like Tom Wilson, would score a lot from the slot, or like it would be Oshie at the time. Those guys were really good in the slot, so like it wasn't always Ovi getting it, but we definitely did a decent job of trying to limit his opportunities. I think Johnny Boychuk might have been the best PKer against Ovi that I saw. Every time the puck would go from like the top, the minute it would go from the half wall to the top, you'd see Johnny just charging out at him. And he would just stick his feet. Johnny's got size 15 feet, so he would just stick his feet together, so they made like a thing this big. Ovi would rip it off his ankle. It would go down the ice. Johnny would make the Johnny Boychuk base. He'd be like, and then he would skate off. Then he would do it again a period later. It was unbelievable. He must have done it 60 times.
How's Johnny Boychuk doing? He's still around the organization, right? He still like shows up with some player development stuff.
Yeah, he's there a lot. He's there at least once a month for a week or two.
What a good guy.
He's the best, man. Nobody liked that guy.
Just a great hockey name, like Johnny Boychuk, played for the Bruins, and we got a good run of him with the Islanders too. That was such a franchise altering kind of couple years, bringing in all those guys. It was a big change on the island with Leds and Boychuk on the D. It was a good time to be an Islander fan at that point.
Yeah, when Leds and Johnny came in, they came in like, remember, a day apart in training camp. Yep. And like, I want to say it was like 2014, beginning of 2014-15 season. And that's really what those two guys coming in was what made us go from a 500 team to That's the year we played that crazy playoff series against the Caps and lost in 7. But that was when we were like, okay, like we're not the old Islanders anymore. We got some
brought in
dudes
2
here.
good names.
Yeah.
Like it was, that was cool. He's not a big golfer, right?
No, he's not a big golfer.
No, he's not.
But he's a big dude. He's a big dude, though. I'll tell you what. He's just a mongoloid. Every time you see him, he gives you this big bear hug too, and he connects his hands behind you and picks you up. Then he turns around and cracks your back, and then you can start your conversation.
Alex, we got another voicemail?
Yep.
Hit me.
What's up, fellas? This is Randall from Dallas. I was just listening to the podcast and hearing the story about the German golfer who needed to get a license and had to break 144. And Frankie was saying, we'll just use your straightest club. And it got me thinking, if you had to try and break 144 with your putter, just your putter, do you think you could do it? And if not, what do you think you could shoot using just your putter? Thanks, fellas. Love the show.
I think I could do it, depending on the golf course, obviously. Like if you went out to Band of Dunes, you could do it easily.
What happens if you hit one into a pop bunker?
You take an unplayable.
I guess you could. Probably wise.
Take unplayable and just go back as far as you can on line with the pin and just be like, I'm just going to putt it from here. Like 144 is a lot. If it was like 100, no, not even close. But I think 144, again, if you had like a Linksy style course, if you're down in Florida or something where you got to carry a bunch of water, like even if there's 100-yard carry, like you're not going to be able to do that probably, or it would take you $1 million and you have to get lucky. So it really kind of depends on the course. But I think in general, 144 is a lot. I'm not saying it's a layup, but I think you could do it at a lot of courses.
I think if you didn't care about your putter and you could swing it like a driver, you'd be able to like maybe do it. Some guys do that really well. They tee it up like a little bit and they just hammer putter. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
Garrett Clark on Good when we were in Hawaii.
No, Abaco.
No, Abaco. That was in the Bahamas. He did it. He hit a drive with his putter like 275 yards, like a little cut over a ravine.
That's great. So the hockey guys were talking about, they were having a debate about before the Masters. If you were put on the furthest point on the green away from the hole at the Masters, could you win the tournament?
We've had this debate for years. I know this was Matt Martin and Barzy were going at it because I got dragged into this. And I told Matt Martin he's the dumbest person ever. And I don't care what I've said publicly on this podcast about that. I've had years to digest it. So I don't know if I'm flip-flopping or pancaking here. I think if you don't think that you can win the Masters from the edge of the green, you're a moron.
That was my first reaction too.
He's like, it's impossible. I'm like, dude, I had to call. He called me and I'm like, you still have arms and like eyes and like legs. Like you're still a human being. So like, he's like, it's impossible. I'm like, it's still a golf course. Like guys are still getting the ball in the hole. I know they're the best in the world, but you're also eliminating the hardest parts of like navigating that golf course, which is like landing it in the right areas and all these things. You get to putt these balls to like 20-foot areas and then just 2-putt from there. And like the worst you'll do is make a 4 on every, I mean, come on, dude. Even if you make a 6, you're going to torch the par 5s.
Yeah.
You could albatross these things.
I think for guys like us who play a lot, probably the answer is yes. Could you? Is it feasible? Absolutely. Okay. For guys who don't play, like I've seen some hockey guys putt who don't play very often. I don't know if it's possible.
I get it.
Like for guys who play regular golf, if you're like a 12 to scratch golfer, you should be able to do that. I mean, you really should.
If you 3-putt every hole, you win the Masters by like 30 shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's a ridiculous kind of comment, but it's just enough to make you think like,
Well, he's like, what happens when you putt off the green? I was like, you just putt back. I don't know. Like you just like get it back up on the green. Even if you make a 7, you 7-putt, you're going to make those strokes up.
He also goes, I putted into one bunker. I'm disqualifying myself.
You could take it unplayable.
That's why I kind of stole the question and just gave it to Riggs. Cause like, what happens if you do hit it in like one of those nightmare bunkers at St. Andrews or something? It's a great point. Just take it unplayable and go put it back up on the green and take your 6, like your double bogey or your bogey.
Yeah, you're fine. At that point, you're fine. Because I was thinking
that's a pathetic take from an athlete in Matt Martin. That's pathetic that he was so adamant that no one would be able to win.
I do think it's such a Marty take, but it is a little ridiculous. But again, like I still have to digest and think about it. I almost have to go to like every green at Augusta and just like pull up the flyover and be like, all right, here's where the ball would be. Here's where the pin would be. Like, what are the odds that I putt this thing 100 yards down the fairway by accident? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I get like 15, you could like putt it in the water.
Yeah.
Like pretty, I guess, relatively easy. Like if you didn't know anything about the green.
Yeah, 13 you can putt in the water too, but the thing is you still have so many other holes to just make.
I know.
Like it doesn't matter. Even if you putt in the water, Frankie, and then you're hitting your third, and I don't know if you could chip or if you don't have your putt, but like chipping it onto the green, hitting your third, you might still be able to make birdie. It's par 5. Like, you know.
He made the one point where he's like, you think that you would beat Rory's 6 straight threes to start Sunday? And that one got me thinking a little bit because that's so impressive that he went 3, 3, 3, 3. Like, dude, you got to be making sure you make no mistakes or else you're losing to him on Sunday. Like,
but you might not beat him in that stretch, but you probably also got like a 17 shot heat on him at that point.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's
9 4
an
putts
idiot.
is 36. So, like, if you 4 putt every single time, you're shooting even par for the tournament. To his point, he's like, well, that doesn't get you to win. It's like, you're right. All you need is what? You need like 14 3 putts and the rest 4 putts, and then you're going to be tied for the lead. And then Scotty, and then Rory and J Rose have to go to the tee, and there you are, on stand on the green waiting for him. Like,
yeah.
Come on, boys, hit a shot.
Yeah, I mean, we still have like hands and brains. We could figure. He's like, you don't get to figure that out there. I'm like, why? Why?
A green is also not a frictionless piece of glass, so the ball will never stop. You know what I mean? It's still just a golf green.
I saw the Jet from Bob the Sports tweeted out. He's like, because he's just so sick of all these things. He's like, could you win the Masters if your ball started in the hole? that one got a really good chuckle out of me. He's always he's actually pretty funny follow on Twitter. He's always like the best YouTube video yet. You won't believe it. He makes fun of like themselves, like how everything needs to be so clickbaity now.
It has to be. It's our world, man. It's our world. Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Look, it's no secret. We got all kinds of hot action going on right now. Big hockey guys. We have a hockey guy in this show. NHL playoffs. Betting on these games is so insanely fun. They just come one after another after another. Betting on Rory McIlroy for this entire podcast a couple weeks ago at the Masters tournament was as fun as it possibly gets, and great. I can't wait for the PGA Championship. But being able to literally get some skin in the game with DraftKings Sportsbook makes it that much better for us.
Yeah, it's hockey season, so hockey playoff season. So I mean, these live bets are hot right now, real hot right now. Teams that have 2-goal leads, 3-goal leads, they get diminished and they get squashed away within seconds. I mean, last night the Oilers was absolutely outrageous. They were down 2 going to the third. Sorry, they're down 1 going to the third, and then they win. Sorry, they were down 2, and then they end up winning. Whatever, regardless. You get these live bets in, and then all of a sudden you check your phone, even if you're not watching the game, you're like, I cannot believe how tight these playoffs have been. I'm a live bet guy. I'm always going to be a live bet guy. A game goes into OT. You end up getting these guys at -110 when in the beginning of the game they were -145, -160, even if they have a lead, they're -300. For me, live betting is where it's at. And I'm just loving it right now. The DraftKings Sportsbook app is a fun time to be involved.
Here's something special for first timers, by the way. New DraftKings customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code FORE, that is FORE. That's code FORE for new customers. Get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. The number one thing your mom wants from you is to call her. This Mother's Day, you can give her a call, of course, and give her an Aura digital picture frame. There's all kinds of great moments out there that obviously every single family has had, from trips to holidays to big life moments. You can obviously get within the digital frames any and all of those moments captured into it with Aura frames. They were named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter and featured in 495 gift guides last year. So the next time that you need to call your mom, you can also send her a new pic of you from that trip you've been telling her about right from your phone. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. This thing is it's great. It's a great gift.
Yeah, we've gotten Aura frames for our parents, and it has been absolutely incredible how often photos are being added to that thing, because once you're in the group to add photos, it's basically like a shared photo album, but then it goes to their physical photo frame in their house. So not only do the people that have the photo frame get to experience it, but everyone that's in the group chat, basically, it's like on the app, the Aura app. Every time someone adds a photo, you get to see it and you get to interact with it. So, like my father-in-law adds a photo of, baby Jack, which is our godson, and like we get to just see that photo. Like maybe he was with them babysitting them. We get to see that photo just like it would be like on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and then that's on their frame at home. So you can add photos from Hawaii down to your mom's photo frame at home, all the way back on in New York. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. The technology, I absolutely love it. The photos look great too on the frame. It's a great gift. You never know what to get your parents. This one is you nail this one.
It is a great gift. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver Matte frame. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code fore-play. That's one word, FOREPLAY. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. That is auraframes.com. Promo code fore-play. Terms and conditions apply. Hockey playoffs. I gotta mention it. We got to talk about it a little bit. The hockey playoffs have been insane. There's always this hype going into it every year, as there should be. The first round or a couple rounds, especially, just because there's so many games every single night. It's just back to back to back to back, and it's so awesome. The Oilers game last night was insane. Scoring with 28 seconds left, and then scoring in OT and going nuts. I'm curious for you, Cal. Is it hard to miss that right now? Like knowing that you're kind of like done and then seeing that, because even I'm like getting the chills. I want to like literally run through the glass door at my place, being like, I just want to like compete and fight somebody around, whatever, run around. I can't imagine for a guy like you, especially who's like a high energy guy, it's got to be like almost hard to watch.
It is hard to watch sometimes. But again, like you said, like those teams are only there because they went through the grind for like 7 months, 82 games, preseason, all of it. But I do miss, like I said, I'll miss those big moments. And the playoffs are like, hockey's in such a great place right now with the product that they have. They've got so many different high level superstars, but you've also got some teams like, your St. Louis Blues, who have kind of caught lightning in a bottle and found it again. Very similar to their Cup team. You know what I mean? Like they were kind of middling. I think the Cup team
It's got to be infuriating for the Jets. It's got to be infuriating for like Winnipeg fans. You have that good of a year, President's Cup, 16 points, whatever they got, and then the prize that you get is you got to play, maybe the hottest team in the league. Blues won, I think it was 12 games in a row towards the end of the year there, and then coming in. So yeah, I'm jacked up about the Blues. You get so disheartened, like when you lose 2 games on the road, and you get so disheartened, just being like, God, that awesome run is for nothing. And then come back, they got Hellebuyck is just rattled right now. They're like chirping about whether he's going to even start next game or not. And it's so exciting as a Blues fan, especially going in now. Game 5, going into Winnipeg and being able to potentially win that game and really flip everything. I think that, yeah, we've been absolutely blowing the doors off in the last 2 games too.
This is the best two days of the first round. Game 5 is important, like the most important game in most series. There's no series that are up 3-0. And it's pivotal, even at a 3-1 lead, you go and lose game 5, you're like, like you really want, if you're going to be up 3-1, you want to win the 4th game. If you're up 3-0, you want to win that 4th one, because every time you give one back, you get a little more nervous about it. But it's just a great product, because really, to your point, like the 8 seed can come in and take on the President's Trophy winning Jets and really like, be on par. Like it's a good series. I think it's probably going to go 7. And hockey's really the only sport where the number 8 can come in and play and challenge and not only beat the team in the first round, but go on a run. So it's just great for the fans of the game. And I think the game's in a great place. And I still love watching as a fan. It's exciting.
Toronto, man. God forbid if they lose this next one, dude. Just like the look on those guys' faces as they were going down the tunnel. Like you knew they wanted that one. Everyone wants every game, but they wanted that one so bad.
The Sens are another team that like is hungry and more skilled than people give them credit for. But I think the Leafs have a little different feeling to them. I don't know. It's just me. I think they've got a.
Well, they do. I agreed. And then when I saw just the way that they were like skating off the ice the other day, like kind of looking at each other, like, oh fuck. Like that was just like there was a little bit like Marner had that look like, oh shit. Like, and then they all walked down the tunnel with their heads down. It's like, oh boy.
Nobody understands what those guys have to deal with though, unless you play there.
Oh,
That's a pressure cooker nightmare.
Like the Yankees.
I grew up in that area, and I listened to, there's 18 radio shows, there's 14 podcasts. Every guy who's ever played anywhere near Ontario has a show. They all seem to take this vision of like, here we go again, and then the whole city just kind of goes there, and it really is not good for those guys. They have a hard time with that, right? Like playing a small market, you lose one, it's like whatever. Those guys have to feel it every single time, every minute of every day. They're driving in the car, the radio's on, they're talking about the team, Pick up the paper, team's on the front page. Go get a coffee, the guy in line, the barista's asking what happened last night. Like it's a lot.
That's it. It's them and the Raptors.
Yeah.
There's so many other things going on in all these other cities and states, and there's so many other sports, and you've got, New York. Think about how many fucking teams we have here. So to grab that back page is nearly impossible, right? I mean, most of the time, both teams of a sport are in the playoffs at the same time. It's like, who do you even talk about on a given day? In Toronto, it's like you said, it's religion.
And it's like the whole province, and then other provinces. There's so many Leaf fans. It's like Canada's team. They're wearing the maple leaf. Like it's a big, big thing. And it's hard because, a team like that should be succeeding, especially when they've been good. Like they had good teams in the early 2000s when I was playing in junior there. Matt Sundin, Gary Roberts, Doug Gilmore, Wendell Clark. Like those teams couldn't get it done either. So, however long the drought is, it just keeps the monkey keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, you do kind of feel for those guys at times, but at least I guess they're like the fact that the other teams could never get it done either. I feel like might give them a little bit of peace of mind. But yeah, I'm with you, Frankie. Like anytime they lose a game in the playoffs, it's like, and I like that team. I like Austin Matthews, Scottsdale guy, American guy. He's an absolute stud. So I kind of like the Leafs. I feel like I like the Leafs more than a lot of like American fans like the Leafs. I got a take in playoff hockey that I want to throw by you guys.
Right.
I'm of the belief that there should be a playoff only rule that a team in hockey playoffs can concede a game. And the reason I bring that up is I was watching like multiple games in the last 4 days or whatever, but there was like 9 minutes left in the third and it was 5-1. And it was just anarchy out there. It was guys just basically running, like taking like clappers from the blue line, trying to like just cause absolute havoc out there, to the point where the team that was getting dusted too was like, they didn't have any energy. I was like, guys are just going to get hurt out here. And I looked up expecting there to be like 30 seconds left. And there was like 9 minutes, like I said. And I was like, what are we doing out here at this point? They need to just get off the ice. And it's not like the NFL where it's like it's a 1-game playoff. You can't concede. You only got 1 game. But in that situation, I was like, they need to get off the fucking ice. I was like, they should just be able to throw a red flag or something and just be like, we concede. We're saving our fucking pride. Fuck you guys. We're leaving. And it's over.
Yeah, well, you could do that, but it's also kind of fun to watch those guys go out there and do stupid shit too. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I always kind of like those games, both sides, because it was like your head's got to be on the swivel. You're also looking to take your pound of flesh from the other guys. It is a 7-game series. You still have 10 minutes left. Try not to get yourself suspended, but try your best to go out there and really make them feel it. Make them feel like, yeah, we're not going down easy. Because when a team loses 5-1 in the playoffs, because it does happen more often than you think, like, just for whatever reason, the goalie didn't have a good night, couple go in early, can get away from you, a couple power plays. And if teams kind of lose their focus, like in the middle of the second period, and it goes from 3-1 to 5-1, you're probably not winning the game. So your mind goes to like, all right, we can't let them like mentally beat us down that badly today. Like we got to go out there and like toss some shit. We got to do something.
Right. That's like what I was witnessing.
10 games,
Yeah, right. I was witnessing like not real hockey because of that reason, where they were like for the next 9 minutes, they were out there. The crowd was going nuts because it was like the home crowd. So the crowd's going nuts. They're like jeering. It's like, and the other guys are just out there skating around. Like you said, just trying not to basically be the most embarrassed people on planet Earth. And I was like, they're not really even trying to score or win the game. So we were talking about the bar and I was like, I think people should just be able to concede. And they were like, watching this right now, that's probably a good idea. Can't remember exactly what game it was, but yeah, those are dangerous times out there in the NHL.
Yeah, and like what the thing about that is usually like there's a certain number of guys on each team that will go out there and do that, and then within 5 minutes, the refs will recognize, give each guy a 10, and then the other 6 guys play the game out, and then you go on to the next. Like you're just looking to kind of like take your piece, get a 10, get out of there, get ready for the next one.
Well, it's funny in golf, you could just like withdraw if you like don't want to play anymore. In hockey, you just like you have to get through that battle. You got Tom Wilson murdering people behind the net. Like,
Dude.
remember what he did to Wisnowski like years ago?
I'll never forget.
That is, I think, the biggest hit I've ever seen in real life.
Still maybe illegal in today's game, but pretty
Train wreck.
But I mean, he did it the other night. He did it to like, I think it was
That's what made me think of it. I mean, it's like it's the same hit.
Hammered him.
You know what? He's a Metro guy. I've obviously hated him forever just because the Islanders have had battles with the Caps forever, but like you can't hate on this. He also puts the puck in the net. It's like Tom Wilson is a fucking player. Like he's making me respect him. He's still doing the damn thing. He's a problem out there. He's laying all these. I'm sure you have other thoughts about it because I mean you went toe to toe against him, but like, god damn, man, you can't help but tip your cap to him.
He is a problem. Yeah, he's a problem. But
he's a problem.
But he's a problem for like every reason that you mentioned, not just because he's a problem. You know, he's like, he can run you. He had 30 goals this year. He plays on the power play. He kills penalties. He kind of does it all. And in today's game, I'm not sure, other than the Chuck brothers, if there's a better power forward out there. And, you know, you think about the old game where it was like all these guys, all these superstars were huge, like the Lindrosses and the Kachucks and the old guys. The game doesn't have that many guys like Tom Wilson. You have to give him his respect because competing against him for as long as I did. Like, you know, I think the public definitely hates him, especially when you're playing against him, and so does everyone else that plays against him. But at some point, you have to kind of, like you said, it's the proper take. Like you kind of have to give him his flowers because he's been consistent. He's really dialed in his discipline. So you put all those things together and you got yourself a 30 goal scoring power forward that plays 18 to 20 minutes a night in every situation. It's pretty valuable.
He's like a creative player in like Chell, where like you make him as big and strong as you can, but you also want to score as many goals as possible. Yeah. He's like he's like in NHL 25, they like wouldn't let you create his build. Like you'd have to sacrifice something for giving all the attributes to like the hitting and like they'd make you super slow and they'd make your shooting like a 20 because you want to put your hitting on 100. It's like the guy's an anomaly right now, but which is hard to say, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Good for you for saying that.
Yeah, you know, I'm getting older, you know.
Yeah.
A little wiser.
You got anything else there, Cal? Anything pressing? Any thoughts on the playoffs? Who's going to win, in the cup?
I had ideas before the playoffs started, and I think those have been put on hold. So, I really don't know. I don't know. You've just got really good teams playing each other in this round, too. So a lot of good teams going home after round one. And it's funny, once you get through the first round, like, you know, the second round is all of a sudden like you've got belief, you got through one, teams elevate, injuries, like you never know. I love Colorado. Want to see Brock get it done, obviously, which would be amazing. But you just don't know. There's too many good teams, and that's what makes it awesome. That's what makes the cup the best, you know. It makes it just such a good watch and so interesting. Anything can happen. I guess we'll see.
Shout out to Landeskog, by the way. He played in his first game in 3 years, and the last time that we had seen him was on the golf course. We did that 4-man scramble against the Avs, basically a month after they won the cup, and he was you know, as on top of the world as you could be. Comes to our event, plays us in a 4-man scramble. We beat them I think we were 17 under. They were 16 under.
That was insane.
Played at the Sanctuary.
That was nuts.
In Colorado, sickest golf course ever. And then we just didn't see him for 3 years. And I always remember in the back of my head being like, I don't understand where this guy is. And then, I mean, I did a deep dive into it, just that crazy, crazy knee situation where he just couldn't get healthy. It just kept kind of happening. I think, did he get he got a transplant of something in his knee, right? Like knee cartilage transplant.
Yeah, it's like a transplant when you don't have I think I don't want to speak, but it's one of those things where because the knees are like weight bearing. You know, if you lose a little bit of cartilage in your elbow, your shoulder, it's not that big a deal because you're not like on it all day long. But if you lose it in your knee, like, you know, you kind of need a knee replacement at some point, like when you're way too young to get one. So your last resort is like this sort of material knee cartilage replacement to give your knee a little cushion. I actually had it done to my shoulder in like 2020, 18, 21. And they kind of had to poke holes in your arm to have the bone marrow kind of leak out. But what it does when it like leaks out,
Jesus.
it calcifies and then kind of like creates this sort of like cartilage type of surface so that you're not bone on bone all the time. Like, doctor was like, if this doesn't work, like, you're probably gonna need a shoulder replacement like in the next 5 years. So it's like, geez, I hope this works. Luckily mine did. But for him, I think he tried every step and nothing was working. And then this one obviously seems to be at least get him to the point where he can be out there.
3 years was stunning when I saw that. I just hadn't really realized that. 3 years? It's like
It was 1,000 something days. It was crazy.
You know what's crazy about that is that you have to understand the level of like persistence and patience that takes from somebody. You know, it really is like we talk about playing and how much of a grind that is, and like being in your prime and winning a cup and then having to go through that for 3 years. And like I haven't played hockey for a year and I play shinny, but like if I were to go out there and try to go to training camp next year, it would be way harder than it ever was for me because I was always doing it. I never took like I take a month off at the end of the year and then you go back, you're skating regularly. Imagine being off the ice for like 2 years and then trying to go
No.
back to being like the Gabe Landeskog. I just think it's really impressive. Happy to see him out there. Just
And he's a
What?
factor too.
Oh yeah.
I mean the thing that made me think of it, you said Brock, and like Brock on that awesome assist to him, but that goal is like he's vintage Landeskog already. Like he's just back in the action, hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah. And if he stays healthy, he's just gonna keep getting better. His timing will get better. And yeah, that team is a wagon.
You got Landeskog on your third line right now. It's like that's unfair.
That is
Like
unfair.
that's not good. That's not good for anybody.
No.
And Nate just was such a good trade. It's just like I would do want them to win for Brock. It's Taves, he already got his. He's so freaking cocky, I feel like now at this point. But him being a 2-time cup winner kind of doesn't sit right with me. But no, that team is they're fun to watch. They're very, very fun to watch. I don't know how you guys have talked to me this long with this fucking pimple on my face. Look at this fucking thing. This baby's
can't
not
even
going to
see it
know
from here.
where my face is. Oh my god,
Can't
dude.
see it.
It's one of those that it hurts. You know when it like hits the surface, it's all you can think about. You
Yeah.
can see this.
I have one on my forehead looked like a gunshot wound last week.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah.
I don't keep
Killing
the
me.
screens big enough on here, so I couldn't tell. I
God,
wanna keep
it's
you guys
like-
small.
It's one of those things. It's like it's got a little like it's got a thought process. It's like pulsating.
All right. Well,
Uh.
speaking of thought process, Frank, good luck this week with your inevitable birth of your child, boy or girl.
I appreciate that, man.
Good
Can't
luck,
wait to
Frankie.
about it.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy times. Not crazy because everyone like does it, but it's just crazy when it happens to you. It feels like it's like you cannot believe that this is about to happen.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah,
Don't overthink it.
yeah.
It's a,
Never has. He never has. So
Pat,
he'll be fine.
yeah, no,
I,
no. I've never overthought
I can
it.
tell.
I went and I got LASIK last week. I was overthinking it so much because I didn't want to wake up with contacts.
You look great in those glasses, by the way.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Good.
People were saying I look like Francine.
Cal Clutterbuck, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a big golf guy, so hearing you be a third mic while Trent's out is very nice.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity for sure. I love coming on here. So wherever you guys need me, let me know.
You got anything like planned out for like audio experience or or I don't know if you want to give anything like your future plans away or anything.
Yeah,
You
I'm
got-
trying to hash it out, trying to figure out what exactly that looks like, what I'm gonna do. Something's definitely coming. I think step one was to start my public social page, obviously, just to be able to have a platform to get the word out, whatever it is I end up doing. Thinking about doing a little bit of mentoring, like for kids or parents. Like we talked a little bit about it earlier, but like just it's a really kind of difficult world to navigate for parents and kids who have aspirations. So maybe just give them an opportunity to talk to me or maybe put a team of people together to sort of create a network and support system for parents and kids who don't run into situations where they don't know what to do. Whether it's like, where do I play? Do I go to prep school? Do I go to college? Do I go to junior? All the things that come along with not only hockey, but every other sport, and just how to make sure that I really want to make sure that the kids who play sports have the same experience that I had. It's just like you learn how to be part of a group and a team, and how to love a sport and how to be selfless and how to do things properly. And all the things that sports do for people. I want to make sure that as many kids as possible can have that positive experience versus a negative one. Like I just don't want to see kids getting burnt out or down by sports. I want them to have a good experience. So maybe something like that. I'm still working out how that looks and how I go about that. But hopefully I can get that off the ground.
Yeah, people love hearing from you. I mean, when you were on the show last time, people loved it. I'm sure they'll love this episode. And you definitely got, I naturally like asked you for advice because that's just kind of like the way you are. It's like you're an easy guy to talk to. So I think there's definitely a future in there for you. I mean, not like you have to do anything, but it's good that you want to give back to like the people that are going to go on the same kind of journey that you did. I love that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. And if you need any advice with changing diapers or
Yeah.
baby bottles, you can call my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I can do it, but I'm not an expert. All right, boy.
All right, man.
Cal.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you out
Thanks
on
for
the course.
joining us.
You got it.
See you. We'll see you out there. Hit it hard.